Hi guys, it's the original Gata, Monique Dupree. I'm back. Uh, well, with all the craziness that's going on in the world, with the coronavirus the coronavirus all by itself. You have to learn how to make the best of a bad situation. And I just want everybody to stay safe and everything. Having said that, I decided to initially do the original Gata 20 questions. But a funny thing happened on the way to looking at the questions. I started getting a buttload of the same questions, and I got in total maybe 50 or 60 questions, but the majority of them were inquisitive questions. So it's like I had to take one of the questions. It's like I was asked about 25 to 30 times, no lie, one question. And I'll get to that one question. But I had to fish for other questions because everyone kept asking the same thing, because you are some nosy SOBs. But I digress. I did say ask me anything. And one thing that you guys should always know about me, if you know me or if you've been following me, is that I'm always straightforward. I'm always candid. Where some people go, well, it's nobody's business or this, that, or the other. I go, yeah, it's nobody's business, but it's also no reason for me to lie about anything either. I don't feel. I don't have time to try to keep up with lies or statements or whatever. So I just say what things actually are. So I hope you can learn to appreciate that. But anyway, I seem to have gotten some questions. I'm gonna answer these to the best of my ability, and hopefully I won't bore you guys. If I do, this is videoed, so you can just keep scrolling past and or look for, I don't know, a good question. So I'm not gonna name people's names because I promised I wouldn't do that, because I wanted people to be able to ask whatever they wanted to ask. So, and guess what? I never got the question, how big are your boobs? I'm so happy. Thank you, people, for that. So, first question. I always wanted to meet Sid Haig. How was he in person? Well, that is a great question. Makes me a little sad, but it also makes me happy to think of good memories. I've met Sid tons of times. We've had great times. I initially met him at conventions. We were both guests together, and you know, the first time I met him, I was very, very nervous. But my ex-husband, my husband at the time, was just like, you know, talk to him, you know, say something to him. He's a regular person. So I started talking to him, and then he was like, you know, you remind me of somebody that I've worked with whom I adore. I said, who? And he said, you remind me of Pam Grier. And I about died. I was just like, I do, because I love me some Pam Grier, okay, from day one to now. I love some Pam Grier, and I've always, like, the films that I do, the cheesy indie horror films, I always kind of count them as being like how she had her black exploitation films, and you know, she did her nudity or her toplessness and did her films, and you know, she moved on with her life, moved forward, or what have you. And I kind of feel the same way, like, you know, this is what I do right now, and you know, I'm elevating little by little out of stuff like that. But anyway, he started to tell me stories about when they were on set and the things that they talked about, and just giving me advice, because the more he talked to me, the more he was saying, man, you just remind me so much of her. Man, you remind me so much of her. And then I was like, you know, I'm opinionated and I speak my piece. And he was like, man, you really remind me. And so it made me feel so good. And every time I saw him, he would try to share, you know, some story. That's not the only thing that we talked about, but we talked a lot about Pam Grier. He adored her. And I was just so happy to have somebody share those great conversations with me, and the group dinners that we all had with, you know, all of the stars, whoever was there at the time, and usually my brother and Sid and just a whole bunch of other, like, the horror community, or maybe the horror and wrestling community, depending on the convention. And we would all sit down at the bar and eat and drink and talk. And a lot of the times when I was amongst this elite group of great talent, I would just sit there and soak it in and listen, instead of trying to interject or make myself a part of the conversation, because I learn from listening. And boy, those were some great times. I miss Sid more and more every day. He was an amazing man, and you know, his legacy definitely lives on through these stories, through his talent, his film work, through the humanitarian that he was, just everything. So I hope that answered your question. Sid was amazing, and he still is amazing. So there you have it. All right, let's see. I don't know how long this is gonna take, guys. Do you have a bucket list of things that you haven't accomplished yet? I had to reword that question because it didn't sound right coming out. I literally copied and pasted these things. I have a huge bucket list, and I really, you know, can't go into everything now, but pretty much the things that I decide I want to do, I end up doing. At this point now, it's a matter of traveling, but nobody's traveling right now. I want to go to Italy, and I mean, I have a lot of places that I want to go and things I want to do. The other thing on my bucket list, I would say I want to do more production work. I want to get recognized for the production work. I did a photo shoot today, and my legs were just like crack. I'm like, oh my God, and I stretched. I would like to be recognized for a lot of the production work that I do, because I do a lot of behind the scenes stuff that I've been doing for years in film and in wrestling, but I don't it's not like I'm seen or I get the credit. So one of the things on my bucket list that I've been working so hard for is that I want to start to become recognized for the things that I do behind the scenes, because I'm already like an underground actress, if you will. I mean, I've done over 100 film and television projects. So obviously I do things in front of the camera with the photo shoots and stuff like that, but I want to be more recognized for the things that I can do behind the camera. It seems weird to want the reverse, but that's definitely on my bucket list. I have a long list, so I'm not going to go through it right now because I have a whole lot of questions that I have to get through. What is it like working for Tommy Dreamer? Well, I feel like, I mean, it's interesting. Tommy Dreamer is a great human being. He's also a crazy human being. And working for him or working with him sometimes means interpreting his brain waves before it comes out of his mouth. So I will say that it is never, ever a dull moment when I have to do things for a dreamer. It's always great. Whether he could be frustrating and I want to strangle him, but at the same time, it's a huge learning experience, and I've learned that I can adapt to almost any situation, and working with him has definitely taught me that. So it's pretty awesome. If I had to choose a boss to have like full time, it would probably be him, even though I may regret saying that. I don't know. But it's great working for him. You get to meet a lot of people, seriously, and experience a lot of things firsthand. There's nobody really better to learn from in the business today than Mr. Dreamer. So there. Hope that answered that question. What is it like having so many children? Well, I don't know how to answer that. For me, it's regular, but my regular is crazy. See previous question. Obviously, crazy runs in my life, and I can't see myself without my children. Like when it's quiet, I'm quarantined here. Well, I'm not quarantined, but everybody's technically quarantined. I'm here in New York, and I haven't been able to see my kids who are in Baltimore, and it's driving me crazy because it's so quiet here, and I go to sleep from their noise. I go to sleep from the activity. I hear booms and cracks and get off of me, and why did you do that? And, Yoshi, put that down, or whoever did that, stop. This is my regular life. And even though it didn't start out that way, you had to go from child to child to child. It was just something that I easily adapted to. It's fantastic having so many children. There's never a dull moment. It gets really rough with travel, with sickness, with teaching, but I wouldn't have it any other way. I hope I answered your question. All right. Have you ever been published in a magazine? Yes. And none of them are dirty magazines. I don't know if that's where you are going, whoever asked this question, but I've been published in the Spanish GQ magazine years ago, for being one of the top scream queens. And my son, who was 9 at the time, took that photo, and he's like 20 something now. So that's just to give you an idea. I've been in so many magazines, Autograph Collectors magazine, which is just a magazine of autograph collectors, Fangoria, Scream magazine. There's another horror. I've been published dozens of times. I can't remember all of the magazines, unfortunately. I'm sorry. But yes, to answer your question, I've been published mostly for my horror acting career, and a couple of times just as a model. I was in the Manic Panic catalog one year, just up there with my weird color hair. I think my hair was pink and blue or something at the time. But yes, I've been published before. I hope to get back into that again. I hope to talk to Fangoria maybe and get with them and do some stuff. I've always had a long-standing relationship with Fangoria, and it's one of my favorite magazines ever. So hopefully soon again. What's next? Is Tony Todd your brother? Yes, he's my brother. Although someone keeps there's a fight going on my Wikipedia. They keep erasing all the information that's true and just erasing it, and then they put information there that's not true, and it stays. So I don't know what to do about that. And then it's the information was on there that Tony Todd was my brother, but one guy keeps deleting it. And I don't know what to do about it because I don't really know how to manage Wikipedia or anything. So to answer your question, yes, but I don't need Wikipedia to say yes because that's just an online source and it doesn't really matter. Okay. Are you... Yes, this is the question. Are you with Tommy Dreamer? Okay, guys. Let's do this again, hopefully for the final time. Yes and no. I am not with Tommy Dreamer. I am with Mr. Lachlan. Tommy Dreamer is a persona, and we talk about it all the time. I'm with the man behind Tommy Dreamer and not the, this person, this Tommy Dreamer. Not sure why everybody, so many people asked that question. Like, it was varying questions. Like, are you married to Tommy Dreamer? Are you dating Tommy Dreamer? Somebody even said, are you effing Tommy Dreamer? Like, that was very crass. Are you in a relationship with Tommy Dreamer? What happened to Beulah? They were asking me questions that they shouldn't be asking me. But I will say that we've been in a very happy relationship for years now. And people ask really stupid questions like, aren't you still married and stuff like that? Nobody ever said, hey, we went and got hitched or something like that. And I think people act like in regular society that people don't separate every single day. So please realize that, while I'm an open person, also in some ways we're private. We are together, but that doesn't mean that you need to know every detail of our goings-ons, because those questions were really, really gritty. So keep that shit away from here. So I answered your question, and hopefully you're satisfied. I just generalized. Well, what else do we have here? How are you dealing with the coronavirus with so many people in your family? Okay, I think I answered this previously already without even realizing, because like I told you, I copied and pasted and ran in here. So I'm also trying to watch the Benoit series on Vice too. So, well, I'm here in New York. I came out for work and for a business meeting with Dreamer, and ended up not being able to get back home. And so I've been here. I haven't been able to get back home. My family's doing fine where they are, and it is chaotic because usually people are going in and out, in and out. And now everybody has to stay in, with the exception of my son, who has to go to work because he works as like security for Rite Aid, so he can't not show up. And it's been rough. It's been really rough. I'm trying to wait for a break in a time where I can just hopefully hop in a car and do a straight shot to my house, and then quarantine myself in my house for another 14 days, which I would never mind doing in the house with my family, because, I have our dog Shadow there. We have 3 cats. We have a gecko. We just lost our second guinea pig, unfortunately, Mac. She passed away like a few days ago. But I have an abundance of love and things to do, and you don't go as crazy when you have so many people. And I'm gonna pack up my photo equipment and bring it there. So Health-wise, everybody's good. We're just trying to make sure we keep resources, because you may know this already. For people like me who used to order on Amazon and have like a automatic order, all of that stuff got canceled because there's not enough supply of stuff like toilet paper and, you know, hand sanitizer. And I mean, I can get soap and stuff like that from here. So what I've been doing is just shopping in New York to build up the stuff, if you will, and bring it home whenever I go home. We'll always need it, even after this virus thing, you know, non-perishable items and things like that. So I hope everybody else is doing okay. We're just praying, you know, like everybody else, and just hoping that all of this is over soon and not, you know, not so many lives lost. We've already lost a lot of lives due to the virus, and I just hope that things get better sooner than later. What exactly do you do in wrestling? This is gonna be my last question. There was other questions, but I'm gonna do a part 2 of this. So what I do in wrestling? Well, I started out as a wrestling valet / manager, if you will, mostly a valet, and that was in 2013. That is when I started doing this, thanks to Mr. Dreamer. Oh, my rings snagged my hair. Thanks to Tommy Dreamer. He gave me a shot at this. He heard my story, that this is, like, I've always loved wrestling. I've always been a fan of wrestling since I'm 9 or 10 years old. I used to watch. I used to have to record it on the VHS tapes for my mother, and I would have to stop it before the commercials came on and know when to start it when the show came back on, so that she can keep them on VHS tapes. Now I used to be able to get about 3 or 4 shows on each tape. I don't have those tapes, she does, but I did all the work. So it started off with valeting, and then I started helping with behind the scenes. I started taking a couple of photos and posting them on my social media, and I started running around for him the things that he needed, because, you know, House of Hardcore is a homegrown independent promotion from the heart and soul of Tommy Dreamer, with you know, no BS, no politics, just wrestling. No politics, no BS, just wrestling. And then I started running social media for House of Hardcore, and it just went on from there. I just started doing, like, my job title seriously for the last maybe 5 years has been everything that Tommy Dreamer's not doing, sans wrestling. That's what I would do. I would literally have to help put together the show, before the show, make sure people were where they were supposed to be. I would have to go out, do my spots, run back, take pictures, post for social media. I've had to moderate live Twitch shows and ask somebody else to moderate it while I ran out, did my spot, came back, and finished moderating when we were doing Twitch live for the shows. I am the crazy lady, always running around. I love that stuff. I love behind the scenes of the crazy, because after the show is done, you can kind of sort of look and just go, man, the show was successful. Everybody had a great time, and I helped do that. I helped put smiles on people's faces. I helped people forget for a couple of hours about all of their problems, all of their ailments and issues, and everybody came together in the name of wrestling, and I helped to do that. That is one of the greatest feelings ever for me. And that's why I'm glad that Tommy entrusted in me responsibility to multitask and to give him ideas and, you know, to put forth, you know, what was here and apply it there to make these shows with him. It's been such a blessing. And I get emotional because I really, you guys don't even know how much I love wrestling. I don't get to talk about it as much, and nobody really cares, because when you're standing next to Tommy Dreamer, nobody cares about what you think or what you want to do or what you do or anything like that. They, you know, they just gravitate towards him naturally. So, I don't get to tell many people that, so I'm just telling you guys all that it's just the greatest feeling, and for as long as he asks me to do it, I'll always do it. And I'm learning stuff every day so that I can apply it to the things that he needs with that. I also help him run his podcast now, House of Hardcore Podcast, which is available everywhere podcasts are streaming. And there I go promoting again. But seriously, if you love wrestling and you love storytelling and you know Tommy Dreamer can tell a story, I mean, the truth, but he just has this way of like making you laugh, or, you know, tugging at your heartstrings and then taking you right back to something funny again. I mean, he's just one of the best storytellers that I've met. And I've met some great people. I would say other than him, it would be Maya Angelou, who I was fortunate enough to meet a long time ago. But anyway, there you have it, guys. It's not 10 questions, not 20 questions. I don't know how many questions I answered, but I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you were able to sit here and listen to my babbling. And if not, I'm sorry. But anyway,